Welcome to Genre Exposure, a film podcast. Join us as we explore the wide world of cinema, broaden our horizons one movie at a time. I'm one of your hosts, Dustin, and as usual, I'm here with Michael.
Hey, everybody.
And Jason.
Hey, everyone.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Doing good.
I thought about doing an Uncle Impy
intro.
Like, hey, everybody.
It's a curious accent to land, I think.
I don't think I did it justice.
No,
so.
probably not. So this is one of our quick cuts episodes. This is probably the first one we've done this year, I think, right?
Mm-hmm,
Yeah,
I think so.
So if you're new to these are anything that's beyond the scope of our usual cycle of going through on a topic and deep diving films, pick by pick, and all that stuff. Could be a discussion topic, could be someone's contacted us about checking something out, all kinds of different things.
Mm-hmm. So far, that seems to be the main thing. Is like somebody contacts us and says, "Hey, I got this thing, check it out."
Which we love and encourage.
Yes, please always contact us about stuff like that.
And we did one on Romero, for amusement park.
The forgotten classic.
Spoiler alert. That's a forgotten classic.
So this is kind of a hybrid of that, because today we are coming together to talk about Dukey Flyswatter.
Woo!
And Haunted Garage, and celebrating his career and everything he's done in the world of horror. But we're doing that for a reason. Mm-hmm. I think it's good to just be transparent right up front. We always try to be about our opinions and any reasons of why we do stuff. So this is not paid promotion in any way.
Nope.
But there's a filmmaker, and they're working on a documentary about Dukey and Haunted Garage and kind of the legacy of all of that and his career and all the people that's impacted and stuff. And it's Kevin Rankin, and he reached out to us and was like, hey, I'm working on this doc. I'm trying to do grassroots promotions. I want to reach out to podcasts and see if they would cover, Dukey for an episode and talk about him and one of his films.
And you can't get more grassroots than us.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and he showed us the trailer, and it looks freaking awesome.
Mm-hmm. That was what sold me on doing it. Is when I watched the trailer, I was like, "Fuck, man, I want to see this film." Yeah,
yeah. This is that perfect for me. It's a convergence of horror, punk, and rock, and horror movies. Two things I love. Mm-hmm. Two great tastes that taste great together. So. Yeah, I'm excited. I want to see this thing.
Creep me out with the taste together thing.
That was a little odd.
I don't like it.
So,
well, you know the old commercial, right?
No, we're not.
The chocolate and peanut butter. Come on, it's basic pop culture awareness, people. Jeez.
What the fuck's he talking about?
I don't know.
If anyone out there knows what I'm talking about, write us.
Is it like Reese's or something?
Chocolate and peanut butter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got chocolate in my peanut butter. You got peanut butter in my chocolate.
What year was that, Jason?
I don't know, probably 80s. Maybe 70s. Fuck.
Were Dustin and I born yet?
Well, okay, you can be aware of things that happened before you were born.
No, you can't.
Anyways, all that is to say, we're super excited about the idea of this, and we wanted to throw ourselves behind it and support.
Damn right.
You may be listening and thinking, who the hell is Dukey Flyswatter? I'm going to say if you are even just a entry-level horror fan, you probably know who he is and may just not realize it yet.
Yeah, you've probably heard him in something or seen something he's written.
Mm-hmm. And we're going to get into all of that. I guess I'll just say up front, we'll talk more about the doc later in the episode, but just to have it up front, if you want more info about this, you can go to dukeydoc.com. And there's going to be an Indiegogo crowdfunding project, and we're going to put all the links to that kind of stuff in our show notes. Share it on social media. It'll be super easy to find. Mm-hmm. So don't worry about that.
Dustin takes all the work out of it for everyone.
Super easy.
You don't have to do shit. That's honestly the only reason.
Just lay back and let Dustin take care of you.
Just go to the show notes and click stuff, and you're good. You're golden.
You made him uncomfortable. He's like, I don't want to do this anymore.
So I guess let's start with the purpose of this documentary. So who is Dukey Flyswatter?
Dukey Flyswatter.
And obviously that is a stage name. That should
is
be
a stage name.
Evident to everyone.
His real name. His real name is Michael Sonye. I think we're pronouncing that correctly.
That's how I always thought it was.
Yes. Yeah. And his biggest claim to fame was that he, in the mid-'80s, started a band called Haunted Garage. Mm-hmm. And
amazing band.
Amazing band. They're great. They are kind of a cross between, they're punk and they're metal and they're rock and roll. They even started out playing rockabilly and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Very Cramps-like, I think. And then they got more into the whole shock rock thing. And from the footage online you could find, their shows were wild and crazy.
Oh, yeah. If you know like Guar, it's in that vein of stuff.
Yeah,
Very
definitely, very
Guar.
much.
Guar is like one of the first things that pops into my head when
Yeah.
you think about Haunted Garage.
It's like
Guar.
one half performance art.
Yep.
But I was aware of these guys back in, I think their only studio album, at least until, there's kind of one that came out a couple of years ago that was sort of...
Yeah, it's the newer one that's like Slender Man, creepypasta themed, right?
Yeah.
That's got some good songs on it.
It does. It's good. I liked it. And Possession Park was their first studio album that came out in 91. And as we already pointed out earlier, yes, I'm old. And so this is what I had to do back in the day before the internet and all that, right? Mm-hmm. So at nighttime, I lived in a small town, central Kentucky. But Lexington was about 30 minutes away, 30 miles away, something like that. So at nighttime, if the conditions were right, I could pick up the radio college station from there.
Nice.
WRFL. And,
R.I.P.
well, they're still there.
Yeah, they're not doing the same shit at all anymore.
No, because they used to have metal shows and shit like that. And
Yeah.
that's what I would
Ghost
stay
of
up.
its former self.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would stay up late and listen to it. And that's where I heard Haunted Garage. I heard the track 976 Kill,
Nice.
which I love the track, and it spoke to me on so many levels because I'm like 15 years old. I'm staying up late watching Freddy's Nightmares, and there's all these 976, telephone commercials coming on, so I knew exactly what he was talking about. I kind of felt that, so I had a connection with that band.
I love it.
It's like when we got this message about this documentary, like we hadn't even you hadn't even watched the trailer yet, and Jason was like, "I'm fucking in."
Yeah, I get the CD.
Like
it's
he
right here.
immediately sent a picture of the Haunted Garage album cover that he's holding in his hand.
It couldn't have been more perfect. It really
Like,
couldn't.
yeah, I'm in, totally in. I don't even care if it's a piece of shit movie. I'm in.
I'm there.
So, as far as him in the world of horror films, some of his bigger roles that you would know him for, I think the first one I always think of is Surf Nazis Must Die.
Yeah,
Trauma classic. Ridiculous film.
of course. Like most trauma films.
There's not a lot of films where he has the outstanding leading role. I actually think the one we've picked to cover for this episode, Sorority Babes and the Slimeball Bowl-O-Rama, which is an amazing title. He's kind of the central star here, for sure.
Yeah, definitely a standout.
Even though he doesn't show up, on screen, he just
No.
voices Uncle Impy.
But you gotta agree that sells the whole movie.
Oh yeah, totally. He's the best
without
thing about
Uncle
it.
MP,
Yeah.
this is like it's not a good movie by any means, but without
Shut your
Uncle
whore
MP,
mouth.
But you also got Linnea Quigley, Michelle Bauer, and Brink Stevens. So,
But when I
mean,
say it's not a good movie, that's not an insult by any
Right,
means.
no.
Oh, yeah.
This
I
is
mean-
like I've fucking seen this movie like 3 or 4 times, so I don't. Yeah.
it's hanging out with your buds, drinking some beers, kind of movie is what it is.
And then the other thing to his career, he's also done a lot of writing, which is super cool. He's that versatile. And notably the one that if you listen to this podcast faithfully, you're going to know is that he did writing on Blood Diner.
And I had no idea that was him. So I'm actually thankful for this filmmaker to reach out to us because I've been discovering things about Dukey I didn't know. I'm really anxious to see this doc. I think it's going to be great.
I still say Blood Diner is one of my favorite episodes we've ever done.
Oh my
Blood
gosh,
Diners,
yeah.
yeah.
So much fun.
Yeah.
I revisit that movie like every year. It's just so good.
I wish I knew he had written that was him back then. It's crazy.
So I don't think we want to dwell too much on his background and his career because,
That's going to be in the doc.
yeah.
If you're interested in it, I don't know how much the doc covers, but he does have a little bit of a porn career too. If you're interested,
Did not know that.
So did one of the lead actresses in the movie we're talking about today.
And as I said, what we are talking about today is Sorority Babes and the Slimeball Bowl-O-Rama, directed by David Dakota, who we haven't covered one of his films.
We have not
We have
done
not, which
Dakota
is
film.
a fucking shame. A Full Moon legend, I'll say that. Full Moon Pictures, Charles Band's Empire.
I had forgotten that this was a full moon film. And
Well, it
then
was-
when I turned it on, it's like full
Yeah.
moon right there. I was like, oh, okay. This is why Dustin was like,
Well, it was
"Yeah, we're
done
doing this
for, what was it, Urban Classics?
Yeah, it was kind of full moon before they were full moon, more or less.
But now it's kind of under that umbrella.
Yeah, or they bought the production company out or something like that.
So I think let's just dig in and start talking about this film.
Let's do it.
Do
And
what we usually do.
one more thing about like Haunted Garage and stuff is like some of the movies they contributed soundtracks to. I want to point that out real quick because You can see him on screen in at least one of them, Cyclone from '87. That's the motorcycle movie. They perform devil metal during a club scene in that one. It's got Jeffrey Combs in it.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's the thing you sent us.
Yeah. So watch that. It's fun. I had a friend who saw that, and he swore they were doing Danzig's Twist of Cain. And the riff does sound a little Twist of Cain-y, but I'm like, dude, that was not Danzig. I guarantee you that was not
a Danzig cover band.
I did some songs on Nightmare Sisters.
That's the one I always think of, because there's like 3 tracks I want to say in that.
2 or 3, yeah. Sorority Sisters Succubus is one that I think was written expressly for the movie.
Yeah, I love that one.
And Brain in a Jar. I went back and rewatched Nightmare Sisters for this too, so I could talk about that a little bit.
Because it has a little connection with our film.
It does.
Yeah.
God-awful movie called Dead Hate the Living. Did some music for that. And another bad movie. The remake of Night of the Demons from 2009.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
It has a great soundtrack. But they did. They used the Incredible Two-Headed Transplant on that. And that's going way back. That was off their first EP.
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah, so check those movies out. Even the ones I said that suck. Because you get to listen to some Haunted Garage, and that's cool.
So what is this film about?
This film is about sorority babes in the Slimeball Bowl-O-Rama.
Hell yeah, it is.
What is a Slimeball Bowl-O-Rama?
Apparently, it is a Bowl-O-Rama that has a imp housed in the trophy.
Okay.
So it's 1988. Let's get that out of the way.
It is 1988.
This is decidedly an 80s horror comedy.
Oh, God, yes.
Through and through. Originally, it was going to be called The Imp, I believe, right?
Yes.
Which is
working
pretty
title.
generic.
Yeah, Slimeball is a much better title.
You're never going to forget that name.
No.
You know, I actually ignored it for a long time because I would see the VHS box and I just assumed it was like a softcore kind of like horror thing.
And that's Nightmare Sisters.
And then one day I just finally caved and rented it, and I was like, "Oh no, this is hilarious."
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
I'm bummed that I didn't watch Nightmare Sisters yet. I wanted to, but I didn't have time to fit it in before we came to record. But
Oh, you should. It's great.
Yeah, it's fun.
sit alone, watch some softcore.
Well, this movie and it's Nightmare Sisters and all of its ilk, that's the movies that we rented, when we were teenagers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just takes me back. It's so much fun.
So I'll drop the synopsis on you guys.
Okay, all right. You tell us what it's about.
3 frat boys sneak into the Tri-Delt sorority to witness the initiation of new pledges and are caught. The pledges must go to the local bowling lane and steal a trophy, aided by the unwanted frat boys. An accident causes a trophy to break, releasing an evil imp who begins wreaking havoc with the teens, who begin suffering an attrition problem. Wow, that's really weirdly phrased.
That is oddly phrased.
Terrible synopsis. They start dying. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they start dying.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get that they were frat boys?
I thought they were losers.
That's what I thought. Yeah. I mean,
I thought they were just like college students.
I did not get that they were frat boys, but okay.
Because this film has a very Porky's, Revenge of the Nerds kind of sheen to
there
it.
There are 3 losers: it's Jimmy, Calvin, and Keith.
All following very specific archetypes.
Oh yeah, one's like just a total perv. The other one's a horror geek. I think he's watching Slumber Party Massacre at the beginning.
Yeah, that's Calvin, who's one of our main characters, played by Andrus Jones,
who was also in. Do you want to do it?
Nightmare on Elm Street 4, yes. Dream Master.
He played Rick.
I love him a lot. I wish he had been in
Alice's
more stuff.
Brother. Yeah, he was good in that. He had the lamest death scene in that movie, but whatever.
Oh well.
I would like a gif of Dustin just going, "Oh well."
And he's watching Slumber Party Massacre, and Robin Still, I think her name is, who plays Babs, was in that. Yeah.
A lot of connections.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
And did you notice who Jimmy was?
He looked familiar to me, but I didn't place him.
Played by Hal Havens. Mm-hmm. Same year. He played Stooge in Night of the Demons.
I thought that was him.
Yep.
He had such
Yeah.
he seems so familiar, and I was like, that seems like the dude from Night of the Demons. But then,
That's awesome.
but he's so completely made up differently in Night of the Demons.
Yeah.
But yeah, very.
Also with Linnea Quigley.
I mean, he's kind of playing the same character.
Oh, pretty
Yeah,
much.
if you need
The
a slobby
yeah.
party boy that's going to die at some point in the film, yeah, that's great, awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they're just having a peaceful night. One of them is indulging in his love of horror movies. The other two are kind of BSing about.
Yeah, one's looking at Playboy Penthouse or something.
One's looking at Penthouse, and the other one's just drinking some
beer.
brewskis.
And it's Jimmy, I think, that first brings it up, right?
Yeah. Like he knows where the initiation for the sorority is going to be.
Well, it's kind of your typical like Friday night. You know, you're hanging out. Like, what are we gonna do? Oh no, what do you want to do?
Sure.
And then well, I happen to know.
Yes.
Yeah, it's Tri Delta, right? That's
I
the
think
name.
so.
The Tridelts. The Tridelts.
I don't know, man. It's all Greek to me. I don't know.
More aptly known through the film, though, as the Feltadelts.
Yeah,
That's true.
Delta Delta.
Felta Delta, yeah.
Yes. Yes.
But they're known to have very crazy initiation rituals that go on.
Yeah, real crazy.
And they want to go and spy on them.
Sure.
Like the horn dogs that they are.
Right. So they immediately commit a crime and get on their property and start peeping through windows.
Well, now Calvin's not so down with it, though. Like, Calvin's like, I
is
don't
he
know.
the drunk one?
He just wanted to watch his movie.
Calvin,
Yeah.
so Calvin,
He has a beer.
Yeah, he has a beer and gets blitzed off of a beer and starts puking through the rest of the movie and everything.
Yeah, he's still
Great.
around and stuff.
That's me.
Yeah, that'd be
I
good.
kind of thought about that when I was watching it. I was like, yeah, that's
I was like,
Dustin.
man, I identify with this character a lot.
I don't want to go watch that. I just want to sit here and watch horror movies.
Who cares about girls? I'm watching a horror film.
And Jason is the dude who's like, let's
My
go.
stooge.
You could be either one of those, man. You could be either one. Yeah, so, but we cut to a scene and we see the three main girls of
The sorority,
Of the
yeah. The ones
sorority.
that kind of run things.
kind of getting ready for things. You see Babs, she's the one that's known as the head. The head girl. Like, she's the one who's orchestrating everything.
Which is Robin Still.
She's in charge. Oh, and also she was in The Being, uncredited, the Jackie Kong movie. Oh. And Jackie Kong directed Bloodliner. So
Yeah, there we go.
Wow, you're just flying with these connections. I love it.
He's got. I mean, no one will be able to see it because it's a podcast. But Jason has a board with like red string connected to all these people,
it's all coming together.
and for some reason, he's just made a giant penis out of it. Though I'm not sure why that is.
Hey, I
but
go where the patterns take me. I can't help it.
it's all the signs, man. It's all the signs.
Well, then they've got the two friends. It's what, Rhonda and Frankie?
Yes, Rhonda and Frankie.
Rhonda is Kathy Obrecht, and Frankie is Carla Barron.
Yeah, I couldn't find much about them.
I just love how fucking 80s they are.
Oh, it's so 80s.
fantastic. Just
I love it. They're putting on like these black robes for the initiation, and the one's complaining that's going to mess up her hair, and just like the cheesiest lines.
Oh,
and that the
it's-
robes are so itchy,
Yeah.
and that this is the true initiation, that they have to wear these robes, and
And apparently there's just two girls being initiated. Isn't it usually more? But anyway, it's Brink Stevens, who plays Taffy, and Michelle Bauer, who is Lisa. Now, Michelle Bauer is the one who had a porn career. She worked under the name, amongst others, P.S. Snow was one of them. And she was actually in the classic Cafe Flesh. If you've ever heard of that one.
I wonder if
Okay, if you're listening along and you're interested, write that down because I can't put that in the show notes.
I wonder if any of Dukey's films crossed over to hers.
Not in my research, but you never know.
Not in his research. he
How
says.
much research?
I didn't go that deep.
That's not one of the titles of the porns, actually.
No. But Cafe Flesh is like a serialistic classic. It's interesting. If you like pornography or you're not offended by it, it's an interesting movie. Check it
I
out.
was still laughing about Jason last week telling us about buying that movie. And the guy's like, "Are you aware this is pornography?"
Yes.
Okay, cool. Just want to make sure you knew.
What do you think? I'm stupid?
But you can see with Lisa and Taffy, like one of them is more into this whole sorority thing than the other.
Yeah.
Right. The one's kind of just like, whatever, I'm just doing this to support my friend.
Oh, this is everything for Lisa.
Yeah.
She's like, what else is she going to do?
You got to get in the sorority, you meet all the right people, make the connections.
Sure.
I did college really wrong
Me too.
based on everything
Well, see,
I've
I
seen.
grew up on a steady diet of movies like this, and college was not like this. At least not for me. I was robbed. I was cheated. I don't know what happened. I obviously did something wrong.
You only got a couple spankings.
Right.
And it was not in this context.
Right.
The only spankings I got were to my wallet.
It's not the only thing. Yeah, so
They peep through the windows.
they're
right?
peeping through the windows or watching, and there's Babs comes down, and she's got a big paddle.
Yep.
And the girls are in their skivvies.
Yeah.
That's the only way to receive a proper paddling.
Obviously.
And
Conveniently in front of the open window with no
Yeah.
curtains or anything.
Yeah.
And it's like a 10-minute paddling scene.
it goes on incredibly long.
I was like, is this paddling or padding?
It's like awkwardly long. But I love it because every time they cut back to the guys, they're making them goofiest, like over-exaggerated
Sure. Yeah,
responses.
they're terrible peepers. They would
Yeah.
get caught immediately.
Jason's an expert. But then you guys need to shut the fuck up. You're going to get the cops called on you.
But then one of them has the brilliant idea, like, oh, we need a different angle to
Yeah.
view this at.
So
Let's break into the house.
They step up the crime and actually enter the domicile.
But now the spankings have stopped, and it's on to the whipped cream.
Oh, yeah. Gotta have the whipped cream,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
And so they spray them with whipped cream, and then they tell them to go upstairs and shower in quite possibly the lowest water pressure shower head I've ever seen in anything.
Tiffany complained about that.
I mean, no wonder there was 20 minutes of Taffy naked showering off because she couldn't get the goddamn whipped cream off because there's no water pressure.
Yeah.
Oh, if you want an extended bathing sequence, you have to watch Nightmare Sisters.
I need to watch it.
Yes. So somehow they send them upstairs to shower,
Yeah.
clean off.
And the guys sneak up there.
They sneak up there somehow.
And they're all doing the whole Three Stooges gag where they're
Yeah.
one head on top of the other looking in.
And their faces in this scene
Yeah, it's
is
great.
fucking ridiculous.
Well, Babs catches them, and she kicks them into the room, and then there's all of a sudden, everybody's covering up for modesty and all
Sure.
that stuff. Yeah,
Right.
but
Then they're on the couch and they're like being interrogated. And Babs brings up the perfectly valid point that they are well within their rights to kill these men because they broke into their home.
But I love how that scene starts because I think it's Jimmy. He's like, well, we've caused you enough trouble. We're just going to go now. And he tries to stand up and they shove him back down.
so Babs works out an alternate arrangement, and she's going to send them to
It's the local mall.
the local mall where there happens to be a bowling alley, and they are to steal a trophy from the bowling alley and bring
prove
it
that they
back
broke
to
in there.
prove that they broke in. Well, now it's all part of Bab's master plan because her daddy actually owns the mall.
Yep.
And so she can get in. But, the rest of the crew doesn't know that. So our main heroes...
But I love how they dump the guys on them to go along.
Yeah, it's their
You
punishment.
gotta punish them too.
It's almost as if she knew Uncle Impy was there. No, she did not. They end up going to so they get to the mall, which and I love the scene on the way over. They're talking about how they're going to get into the mall, and I think it's Jimmy, right? No,
Yeah. Jimmy's the one that acts like he's like MacGyver or something.
yeah, and he's like going over all these ways that they're going to break into the mall. They get there, and he's like, "Well, I just need to do this, this, and this." Well, Calvin, drunk off his ass, just like opens the door, and it's just open. The mall is just open.
Of course.
As they go in, are they the ones that lock the janitor in the...
I think he's already accidentally stuck.
Well, no, somebody...
He's about to get out at one point, and then someone shuts the door on him, and he's stuck again.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, there's a janitor who's stuck in his closet.
Which I should say about this whole mall situation, it was shot in like different places. So there was like the bowling alley set, and then there's the mall, and they just kind of cut it like they're connected.
Yeah, I always thought that was weird every time I watched this, because bowling alleys are usually not in the mall, but,
I'm
whatever.
sure there's someplace somewhere that has a bowling alley.
Yeah, I don't know.
Right in if you had a mall with a bowling alley.
Yeah, let us know. But the janitor is played by George Buck Flower. Credited here is C.D. LaFleur. And I guarantee you've seen George Buck Flower.
Him and Dukey absolutely steal this.
Yeah.
Like every single scene they are in, it's their movie.
Right.
As much as I love Linnea Quigley, this is not her movie.
No, but I mean, she's awesome in it.
She's
But,
great
yeah,
in it,
she
but this
doesn't
is-
own it.
Well, from the first second you see the janitor, he's just like chewing the fuck out of every scene for every second.
He knows exactly the type of movie he's in, and he knows what to do. But this guy, he was in The Fog, Back to the Future. Probably one of his biggest roles was in Pumpkinhead.
Oh, yeah.
He was the other father.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
He's super, like, if you've watched any film from the 80s, you've seen this guy's face.
Yeah, I guarantee it.
But it's so funny because you don't really know why he's in the film at first. It's other than this joke that he's stuck.
Right.
He can't get out.
Yeah,
But there is payoff later.
there is.
So, as there's a lot of just plot padding here,
They're slowly exploring the bowling alley.
Yeah, they split up.
and it's not until they finally find I guess it was a trophy, right, that housed Uncle Impy.
Well, it was just a trophy. It was the biggest trophy they found.
Right.
So one of them runs into Spider first.
Yeah, we should cover that
Oh, yeah,
first.
yeah. Sorry, I forgot.
Yeah.
Spider is there, played by the ever awesome Linnea Quigley.
Yep.
And I love her in this film because she actually is sort of like the leading person for once.
If I remember right, so the first time I watched this was on Joe Bob's Shutter show at the drive-in or whatever. The last drive-in. There we go. Sorry.
That's
I'll get
it.
there.
That's the one.
And I remember Joe Bob talking about it, and I'm pretty sure Linnea Quigley pushed for this role, that she was supposed to be one of the other girls.
Oh, I have the note for that. But Dakota was like really excited to work with her and like gave her the script and said, you can pick any character
Right.
and that's your character.
Right. And I remember because Joe Bob was talking about this was kind of the first role that she got to do that. You know,
Yeah.
like that she
Well,
was
it's awesome because when you usually think of her, she's like the eye candy in most films.
Yeah, in almost
She
everything.
looks young. She looks like she should be a college student. You know, I mean,
but
that
she
works.
has like 80s the fuck out of herself.
Yes. And it's total badass.
Yeah, you know, like full on 80s makeup. She's the badass on the motorcycle, and she's there to rob the place. As that's what I do.
Sure.
You know, she's going after weird things to rob though. Like she's trying to break into a pinball machine.
Yeah, I want those quarters.
Like I mean,
Maybe she's got Pac-Man fever.
but they stumble into Spider. Calvin's immediately got a bit of a crush on her.
And who can blame him?
Yeah,
Of course. Again, still, I'm right there with Calvin.
Yeah,
Man. Yeah.
identify with him.
Yeah, Calvin's got a bit of a crush on her. She's doing her badass thing.
Tell him to fuck off.
And at the same time, Babs and her friends have gotten into the security station of the mall, and they're spying on all of this with the cameras.
Yep, watching on the cameras.
I don't even remember what their plan was going to be. Were they going to scare him?
Yeah, they're gonna scare them and run them off so they won't get the trophy, and then
They won't get initiated.
they can punish them more. And
It's really like a very convoluted plot on their part.
It's
Like,
Machiavellian, really.
yeah, I just okay. There's no means to an end here, but whatever. All right. They eventually finally stumble through and find this trophy, the biggest trophy they can get. It's what they choose.
Yep.
But something happens.
Yeah, because they all get together, and that's when Linnea is trying to break into the pinball machine.
This is great.
And the dude who plays Jimmy Stooge, I just want to call him Stooge. He's forever Stooge to me.
That's fine. We went an entire episode where I called somebody like Officer Dicksuck or something like that, or I don't remember.
Right.
The Nightingale episode.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think I ever said that. Or in the Beast episode, I never knew that guy's name. Kravchenko?
Kurvachenko.
Holy shit!
You were close.
You're
You were
so
very
close.
Holy
close.
shit.
That was pretty good.
Couldn't do it on the episode. I got it now.
Good job. Yeah, Stooge said something rude to her, so she kind of belts him in the gut, and he drops the trophy, and it breaks.
Ooh, mist and smoke shoots out.
Missed, and out comes. Well, it's a puppet. It's
And this is how you know it's somehow tied to Full Moon.
yes,
a puppet.
it
It's
is
a good puppet,
It's a
though.
rubber
It is.
puppet. You
It looks
know, I
good.
mean, it's not like convincing. You're not going to look at it and be like, "Oh, it's like Yoda." You know, I actually believe this character, but
Man, wouldn't it be great if Uncle Impy took Yoda's spot? Bitch, you better not do that. Pull
yeah,
the lightsaber on your ass.
the character really comes alive through Dukey Flyswatter's performance. Definitely.
He makes this film just sing and go to a different level.
So he starts to tell them that
He can grant wishes.
he can grant wishes, yeah, and gives each of them a wish.
And it's great because Calvin kind of interjects and is like, whoa, I don't know about
He
this.
guesses the plot of the
Yeah.
movie.
And it's that thing, like, we know this, like, Scream with Randy. Like, there's always the
Yeah.
nerdy person that's into horror films, and because they have this knowledge, they,
Yeah.
like, know what's up.
He's like, wishes always like turn on you in this situation, and he's like, he's read the Monkey Paws, obviously.
Which, very loosely, this film is kind of an
Right.
adaptation of that.
Right.
So it starts off pretty simple, or pretty harmless with the wishes that are granted.
It's okay. So Stooge wishes for gold.
Gold, just gold.
And then these gold bars appear, right? Cool, he's happy with his gold. Keith apparently wishes for Lisa to be in her underwear and to have sex with him.
Well, he doesn't know what he wants at first, and then
Impy
Impy
guesses
is like,
for him.
"Hey, here, let me whisper something to you."
That's right, yeah. So apparently Lisa doesn't get a wish.
Which we should talk about this for a second. If you're trying to go back to this film in like a modern context, this is kind of problematic a little
But,
bit.
you know, there's actually...
It does turn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'd forgotten about how that turned.
Right.
And it's kind of progressive
Yeah,
for that part.
kind of.
That's what I wanted to say. Is so don't be like super put off by this. Like
Right.
one thing, it's the '80s. It's what it is, but there's actually like more depth to this when it
But
goes.
you will immediately, if you have any...
Yeah, it's kind of skeevy at first. But
Yeah, that this dude has basically wished for this girl to have sex with him.
Yeah.
And she immediately is like in her underwear and lingerie and
Yeah.
is like fawning all over him. And she's like, let's go.
Right.
and he's like, I'm gonna go with her.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so they're gone. They're out of the picture now.
Now, Taffy, Brink Stevens, has probably the lamest wish of all. Oh, but she does get 2 wishes.
You don't know that it's the lamest.
It's
were
lame.
Were you the prom queen?
No.
Did you sleep with the prom queen?
No.
See, that's what I thought. You don't even know. I
Uncle
also
Impy
answer
says-
no to both of those, but
Me as well.
Uncle Impy likes her, so he's going to give her 2 wishes. So her first one is to be the prom queen. Yeah. She never got to be queen of the prom. So suddenly she's in like this dress, like a gown.
And she's so happy.
And she's just dancing around. She's happy. I guess it's good to have attainable goals, but I mean, when an imp grants you wishes, go for the sky. You know?
Oh, and we're already past it, but to back up real quick, I love when they first meet Spider and they're kind of like telling everyone's names. And when they get to Taffy, she just like reams on her about that.
like Taffy.
Right.
So yeah, magically they get their wishes and everything seems kind of cool.
Spider and
Calvin.
are more suspect, and they leave. But Uncle Impy knows, and that's how he introduces himself. He says, "Don't be mean to Uncle Impy." He knows that Babs and Rhonda and Frankie are spying on him.
Mm-hmm.
So, for sneaking and peeking, as he puts it, he turns Rhonda and Frankie into monsters? Question mark.
Well, one's like the Bride of Frankenstein.
Like exactly like
Yeah.
Oh man, it's like, oh man,
The other one has some
stuff on her face.
Yeah, some shit on her face. That's basically.
Very like Italian demon look almost
Yeah.
away.
Yeah,
For like a lower budget film or something.
the Babs is not affected, but she runs from her friends who are now monsters.
Not affected yet.
Yet.
And Uncle Impy seals them in the bowling alley.
Right.
He like electrifies all the doors.
Yeah.
So now this is where the wishes kind of start to come undone for everybody. It starts off easy. So for Stooge, what is his actual fucking name?
Jimmy.
So for Jimmy, he finds out these aren't actually bars of gold. These are just wood.
Yeah, wood painted
Just
gold.
wood painted gold.
Much like the film Endgame
Yeah,
with the gold painted wood.
That's true.
And I have to, like, the way that he's playing this, like, fawning over the gold is so fucking hilarious.
Yes.
Like, he's laying there next to it, like, yes, my gold.
He's making love with the gold.
Well, Taffy starts to notice that her dress is all torn.
Yeah,
her
it's all
dress
dirty.
is shredded, and it's, you know. So then I think it.
That's when they get waylaid by the monster girls.
Yeah, monster girls show up, and that it goes on for way too fucking long.
Well, the girls put Jimmy's head in the ball polisher,
Yep. It's pretty cool.
which is pretty cool. And it messes his face up, like rubs all the skin off, I guess, because we see him briefly and he's like all red. But then his
Yeah.
head actually is removed.
Which that's a great scene.
Yeah.
And it's more of Uncle Impy's narration as they're winding up to bowl
Yeah.
and bowl his head.
Bowl his head. Yeah.
You kind of knew it had to happen. I mean,
sure.
in
Yeah.
a movie like this, it's
Why
gotta
would you set
happen.
it there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not the only time.
Did they have it return through the ball return? I couldn't
No.
remember.
No.
See, that's a waste.
I think you're thinking of
opportunity.
Cabin Fever where they do that.
That's just a wasted opportunity.
Well, yeah. This movie also has a special place in my heart because, like, the bowling alley and the arcade in it really takes me back to my childhood because I virtually grew up in a bowling alley. My parents were in the league and my mom worked there, so I was there all the time.
Jason was
wow.
actually born on lane 9.
So, I mean, I could, like, smell this place. I could still smell the smoke and just the various other odors. So
I don't know if it's still there, but did you guys ever go to the... So we had, in our town, we have the bowling alley that has like the Cosmic Bowling, and that's where like all the teenagers go.
I always went to Maroon Lanes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
me too.
shitty local one.
We had... we call it shitty local, but man, that place had a cheeseburger that could make you shit your pants for a week. Like the
is that
amount
a good
of...
thing?
Yeah, the amount of grease on that cheeseburger... That was just like, that's what I imagined.
Well, we
Like,
used to bowl back when I was in college. We used to bowl on campus.
Oh,
'cause
yeah.
They had that little bowling
We
alley
did
there.
too, yeah.
So we always went there.
They finally destroyed that place. But
Yeah.
whatever. You
We
know.
had a lot of fun there.
Now it's a computer center thing.
Boring.
Yeah,
Used to be an
lame.
arcade and pool tables, bowling alley.
Lame.
Anyway.
Meanwhile, in the locker rooms, because, there's locker rooms here, of course.
Well, sure.
You gotta have a place to go change, get ready to bowl. You can't just change right out in the open.
Things
throw
are
in your-
getting hot and heavy with Lisa and Keith.
Yes.
Which this is where we say this is actually kind of progressive for the time, and like when we say don't turn this off or don't get put off by this.
Yeah. There's also before you say this, she keeps telling him to hold him closer, hold her closer. And he says, if I was any closer, I'd be behind you. And she's like, oh, you're so funny. And he has this funny delivery. He says, no, I actually stole that line from a movie.
She's like everything he does. She's all over him,
Yeah.
and she's being very, very aggressive.
It's like how women are to us.
What? What?
She's yeah, but this is interestingly where Keith actually says, like, I think we should slow down. Like,
Yeah, I think you're under a spell or something.
yeah, he
Yeah.
actually acknowledges that
You're not in your right mind.
that I don't think you really want this, and you don't. The only reason you want this because you're under this spell.
Yep.
And I don't want it like this.
Yeah, it's like, all right.
And it's kind of like, damn. Like,
That's good, Keith.
there's a lot of shitty, sleazy things that happen in 80s films and 90s
yeah.
films, like where you watch them and you're like, dude, that's not cool. This one
Revenge
actually,
of the Nerds.
yeah, this one legitimately says like, hey, we
Yeah.
shouldn't do this because
Right.
you're not you.
You got to respect that.
But of course, because he has that regret, Uncle Impy doesn't stop it.
Right. But
Well, Uncle Impy lacks the morals that Keith has.
but Keith doesn't go through with it.
Right.
So, I mean, he still shuts it down, but for
As
other
much as he
reasons,
can.
Yeah, she's still all over him, but he's not, taking advantage of the situation.
Meanwhile, Spider and Calvin they're hiding in like a supply closet, I think.
Yeah, it has a gun for some reason.
It's so blatantly a joke, though. Like, I love how much of a joke that is because she's like looking around for something to use as a weapon, and Calvin's like, "Here."
Yeah, hands her a broom. It's just like, well, I'm going to clean him to death. He
Yeah.
looks around some more and hands her like a 1911 semi-automatic.
Yeah. Which they'd already kind of stacked up to slow her down, slow Monster Girl down or whatever. But when she finally breaks through, Linnea gets to fire off a shot, shoots her. Well, that doesn't kill her. And she gets up, she shoots her again, using the exact same cut footage, which I love. They're like, we get to shoot this
So
gun
good.
once and record it, so we're going to have to use the shit out of the same scene. They put that, So then the two get out of the supply closet and escape.
And then the Bride of Frankenstein girls chasing Brink Stevens around.
Hissing.
Oh, man, she is so
hissing a lot
over the
at
top.
her, yeah.
She is so over the top.
There's
And
some...
it's appropriate for the movie, but it's also like, oh my God, it's like a 6th grade production of Frankenstein.
Yeah, there's a lot of this scene goes on way too long.
I love just like a water fountain in the mall, and they do this whole like they're on opposite sides, like
Right.
creeping around.
Again, it's like a cartoon. The whole movie is really...
Yeah, there's some very strange choreography going on between the two of them, where they're just kind of dancing with this pole.
Yeah,
She's trying to hit her with, just kind of dancing around with it.
I don't think Yuan Wu Ping did the fight choreography for this movie.
no.
If he did, he's like, scrub it. Don't put my name anywhere on this.
Meanwhile, we go back a bit to Lisa and Keith, and he finally sort of removes himself from the situation. But what is it? He brings up he needs a drink or something, and she doesn't buy that at first. And then he mentions he's going to get some ice to like spice things
Yeah,
up,
like for a sex thing.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, okay. And then he gets killed.
which is funny because it's like he escapes, and then he just kind of wanders around in like the food court area of
Yeah.
the place.
Well, and meanwhile, Spider and Calvin are looking for another weapon. And they decide that they'll go to the food court to find knives. that they'll surely have something there.
Right.
But they end up killing Keith by like shoving his face in boiling water, which I'm really concerned that the mall is closed and there's water still boiling.
Well, I think that's Impy just setting stuff up.
Or maybe the janitor was making some
Or
fries.
maybe there's just some
late night
really
fries.
shitty employees that are like, fuck this, I'm going home.
I'm just sad that his head wasn't a hush puppy when he came back up like Blood Diner.
Oh man, yeah.
Not every film can
Yeah.
swing for the fence like that, though.
That's true.
You know. So he's dead.
Yep.
They're all kind of dropping here.
And Taffy gets pulled apart, stretched like
Taffy.
But I love how they do it because this is the cut of them like pulling on her, and then you don't see it again until they find her, and it's this very staged shot where it's like her upper body and her lower body.
Yeah, and there's like a column in between it, so you can't just tell that she's just laying there and someone else is laying on her.
What? You're telling
I
me
know.
that didn't do
I ruined the illusion for you. I'm sorry.
I love it so much.
So out of this film now.
So good.
And we're kind of rapid firing how these characters die because this is exactly how it happens in the
Yeah.
movie.
Well, yeah. I
Like
mean,
we hit a point where
this is
they're
not
like,
about plot.
we hit a point where they're like, oh shit, the runtime's getting a little long
start
here.
killing them off.
We need to start getting rid of them here.
And Babs gets back behind the bowling pin machines, and Uncle Limpy pops up back there, and she's like, "Why are you doing this?" He's like, "Well, I'm an imp. That's what I do."
But Babs ends up getting turned into a dominatrix.
That's right.
Which they kind of
Basically.
tease early in the film.
Yeah, they-
little paddle and everything.
Which I'm like, don't shame her. If she wants to be a dominatrix, don't shame her kink.
No,
Like,
I mean, hey,
it's legitimate sex work. Like, you do what you do.
I'm all about it.
If as long as everybody's consensual, you do whatever the fuck you want to do.
Sure. Oh, and they also get backstory from the janitor.
Yeah, this is where Spider and Calvin, in their hunt for like another exit or anything that can help them, the janitor is finally freed. And they link up with him, and it's this weird, like, it's almost like a Three Stooges bit or something.
Yeah, because he's hard of hearing. He has a
Yeah.
hearing aid.
Oh god, that's such a good gag. Like, it's just so
He
good.
sells it.
Like, they're telling him what the plan is, and he's like, hold on, my thing's not working. Hold on. Okay, say it again. And she tells him the plan exactly the same again. And he's like, oh, his thing's still not working. He's finally like, oh, fuck it. And he just repeats exactly back to that.
I'll
what he
just stay
said.
here. You two go out.
It's delivered so well.
But Uncle Ippy was apparently conjured by someone who wanted to bowl a perfect score or something.
Yeah.
Which there's a funny note about this. The man in the story is Dave McCabe. And when David Dakota directed some adult films, that was the alternate name he put his credit in as.
Oh,
nice.
yes. He has many nom de plumes.
Yeah. But yeah, basically he really wanted to bowl a perfect game. He couldn't do it.
Make a deal with the devil.
So he turned to black magic, summoned up Uncle Impy, traded, I guess, whatever, got his wish, won, but then people started turning up dead at the bowling alley.
It's very nonchalant about it, too. Like, people just started showing up dead. I don't know.
I think he says it's Dave that figures out that if you seal an imp in a confined space, it like drains their power.
he can't get out.
And so he sets to a right to do that, but then he ends up getting arrested for the murders.
So Uncle Impy has been trapped for 30 years.
But now that he's finally released, he gets to have some fun. Except, as everything, like, I guess everybody's dead now except
Well,
for
the next kill that does happen is Lisa's still waiting for Keith to come back, and Babs rolls up on her with the whip. And we don't really see what happens. But
Yeah. I guess she either whipped her to death or strangled her. I don't know.
It doesn't. None of this matters.
And then the other one, messed up face girl, kills the janitor.
Yep.
Stabs him.
Have we got anybody left?
That's
No, it's
it.
just our leads,
It's Calvin and Spider.
which they come across Babs,
Yeah.
get into a bit of a struggle.
Burn her with a Molotov cocktail.
Well,
Yeah.
and I love this because as she's dying, Spider's like, darn, I really loved her outfit.
Yeah. We shouldn't have to do that. I like her outfit.
It's such a great line.
But the imp's still there. But they do get out of the mall. They get out of the bowling alley.
Right.
And oh yeah, this is where
It's the bride, the one who's the bride of Frankenstein. She's got the axe and she's coming at him. It's right when they're about to get out
yes.
because Spider wrests the axe away and then decapitates her.
Right.
Super cool.
But is it Calvin that gets in the car?
Yeah, she tells him to run out and start the car and bring it around.
Right. So he's driving it, and then out pops the other chick, Rhonda, whatever her name was.
And we get
Yeah, it's
Uncle
a great line.
Impy's great line. Jason, what is it?
Monster in the backseat, oldest trick in the book.
It's so good.
I will say, if there's anywhere I think this film suffers, it's in this back half when everyone's dying. They kind of dialed down on like the Uncle Impy
Yeah, I want to
like
know Uncle Impy.
commentary.
Yeah, it's funny when he pops up and has things to say.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Calvin survives the crash, obviously.
Yep. But it happens because Spider finds Uncle Impy, and she's got like this tin can thing.
It's Prince Albert can.
Yeah, it's Prince Albert Can.
And she like dumps it on him at the last minute, which kind of releases that magic that was making everything happen. And so he just survives the crash.
Yep.
So
Then they're right off on her bike.
yeah, trash.
It's a different movie.
Sorry, a little
Same,
slip there.
Same actress, different movie.
Yeah, Spider comes and gets him out, and saves him from the car and everything. And she tells him like, "We're gonna go somewhere else." And he's like, "Where?" And she's like, "My place."
And I think this is
I wonder
so,
what her place is like.
it's so sweet, like their relationship as characters, the way like he's just a complete loser and she's this like hard badass biker chick.
Yeah.
What's funny though is like I get this impression. I'm going way too fucking deep in this movie, but I get this impression that this isn't really who Spider is. That this
Like
is
it's
like
a facade or something.
yeah, because they have this like kind of cute little scene where they're sitting in the I think it's in the storage room, and no, there's a bathroom there somewhere. There's a urinal sitting there, and she lights up a cigarette, and Calvin's like, "You shouldn't do that." And she's like, "What are you, my mom?" And you almost get this impression that like this is almost like a
rebellion type
a
thing.
rebellion or an act that she's putting on or whatever, because she's so interested in this like super nerdy,
Yeah.
well-meaning kid that it almost makes me, I don't know.
I could see that. But yeah, I just like it because it's like they don't make a big deal about it. And it's not like some big romantic kiss at the end, but it's
Right.
just like they go from just like strangers to they have this little like chemistry together that's really nice.
Yeah.
And it ends with Uncle Impy. They just left him there on the curb
In the
with the
can.
can over him.
It smells like tobacco in here.
So all someone has to do is just knock the can over, and Uncle Impy's out again.
I mean, that's not Spider's problem.
I guess not.
She's done. She got her and Calvin out.
He's got that line. You in the front row. You want to wish?
Yeah.
Which is such a great way to like send it out on. But you may be onto something, Jason, because in 2019, Full Moon Features announced this whole thing they did called the Deadly 10, where they were going to make 10 new films that were updates or connecting pieces to old classics from Full Moon. And one of those is a sequel to this.
Yep.
It's going to have Linnea Quigley, Brink Stevens, Michelle Bauer, David Dakota is going to be back directing.
I have the director listed as Brink Stevens.
They're co-directing it,
Oh,
apparently.
co-directing,
Yeah,
cool.
working on it together.
I hope this actually happens. I mean, this could be one of those things that just never materialize.
I know they've made Son of Them because the Puppet Master one was a Blade solo film, and it was not that great. But it's Puppet Master, so
So you got to watch it.
I liked it.
So you got the blue.
I got the blue.
It's at least 3 stars if it's Puppet Master.
I gave it like 4. I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world.
It's better than Brimstone.
It is.
Oh, no.
Hey, yo!
A Puppet Master sequel is better than Brimstone.
Most of them are.
You
So,
should go tweet that. Okay.
yeah, it's not a complex film. It's not a deep film. It's
a
not a
fun movie.
meaningful film, but it is
fun
so much fun. Oh, so much fun.
Now, I think, I'm not entirely sure because I didn't look that hard on Shudder. But this is on Shudder. This
on
is how
Shudder.
we watched it.
And it had 4 skulls out of 5
Yeah.
Yeah.
user rating.
Joe Bob did do an episode with this on it. If you can find that episode, I'm not sure if it's still on there.
Probably
I think it
is.
I don't know how they do those.
Well, if Shudder's still playing the movie, they probably still have the episode. So
And if you're watching this by yourself and you don't have somebody skid around and watch this, Joe Bob's a great way to do it.
Sure.
Because you get some really nice trivia thrown in between in the middle there. Joe Bob's always great, and kind of get. I don't know. I'm a big proponent of Joe Bob, even though sometimes he's a little too misogynistic. But still,
It's a character he plays.
yeah. I'm a fan of Joe Bob because I feel like I get to watch these shitty movies and I'm not watching them by myself.
yeah.
It's like you got somebody there to share it with.
Well, I'll give you a horror host connection to that. Because I did watch Monster Vision, and that was a cool thing back in the day, but my jam was USA Up All Night.
Yeah.
Especially when Rhonda Shear was the host. Wonder about that, This actually aired edited on USA, and it was apparently one of their most popular episodes as far as viewership.
I believe it.
And Linnea Quigley was actually on and co-hosted it with her.
Oh, that's cool.
Nice.
That's awesome.
And it was probably where I first saw this, I want to say.
Did either of you meet her? Have you guys met her at a con yet?
No,
I've seen
unfortunately.
her, but I haven't actually gotten an autograph. Or
She's
anything.
apparently a total sweetheart.
Yeah.
Absolutely just
I'm sure she
such a
is.
sweetheart.
Yeah.
Oh, the days of cons. I mean, they're still happening. I just don't leave the house anymore. So.
Right, sure. Yeah.
So some connecting points on this. We should talk about Nightmare Sisters real quick.
Yeah, because it was kind of a sister film.
Right, in the wake of this
Nightmare
production,
Sisters film.
David Dakota kind of took the cast that wanted to stick around and work on this and made this whole other movie, Nightmare Sisters. Mm-hmm. Which it's the same thing, right? It's sorority sisters.
Yeah. And they're a bunch of... It's kind of the roles were reversed. They're a bunch of dweebs and nerds and stuff. But then they get all sexy from a crystal ball.
That's how it always works.
And murder ensues.
Yep. 10-minute long bathtub scenes ensue.
Yeah, it's a little... Take that raunchy dial and twist it just a little further
Yeah.
than Sorority Babes.
This was a very popular movie for us back in high school.
And it's got a Blu-ray from Vinegar Syndrome.
Yeah? Yeah.
Which of course I have.
And Dukey Flyswatter plays Omar at the very beginning. He's a fortune teller. And he uses this Indian accent, but I think it's also part of his hucksterism. I think the character in the movie is pretending,
Yeah.
to
So
be
that he seems
Indian
more
accent.
credible as like a
Right.
fortune teller. Yeah.
And he's pretty funny in it. I wish his role was bigger.
So now that we finished with our recap and everything, I'm not giving fucking stars for this movie.
We're not getting stars?
Do you want to give
We always
stars?
give stars.
Okay.
Yeah, we have to give stars.
I mean, 5.
Well, I got some more.
5 stars.
I got some more fun facts before
This
we
is
do
better
that.
than Reflecting Skin.
Yeah,
Okay.
fuck yes, it is.
So the reason this popped off, because Charles Band is a producer on this, and he apparently brought Dakota in because he saw Creepazoids from '87, and he loved it so much he wanted to work with him as a director.
Also has a name quickly, right?
I think it does, yeah. But basically, he called him up and said, "Hey, I've got a movie, and I want you to start working on it. It's called The Imp. I've sold it based on the poster, and we don't have a script."
Perfect.
That's exactly how TerraVision happened too, right?
Which, again, that's Full Moon.
That's how
Yeah.
Roger Corman made
Yeah.
movies. I mean,
So the script was actually written in 10 days, and they just had the one draft that they worked off of.
It took them that long to write.
And then they shot the whole thing in 12 days. And apparently the bowling alley that they shot in, they couldn't afford to just rent the whole place out. So they worked out this agreement where they would come in whenever it closed at 9 p.m. and they could shoot till 9 a.m. when it opened back up again. But they had to like clear back out and everything.
like Dawn of the Dead in the
Yeah.
mall and everything.
Yeah, which is hilarious.
That's great.
Whenever they were going to change the name away from the Imp, Charles Band had a contest among his employees to try to pitch a new title. And the winner was Bitchin' Sorority Babes and the Slimeball Bowl-O-Rama. And apparently the whole cast hated this name and they really were against it, except Andrus Jones. She's a funny guy, so I can see him
Yeah, he got it.
jiving to that.
He got it.
When they took it to the MPAA, they told them that they needed to drop Bitchin' from the title.
Oh, man. Bitchin's even better.
That's so 80s.
Yeah, it's great.
What other fun things? There's so many little connecting things on this. The sorority house where they shoot that stuff in the intro. 2 other Linnea Quigley movies have used that house. Murder Weapon from '89, and it's also featured in Linnea Quigley's horror workout video.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
That's a classic.
Nice.
Beloved classic for many of us on this show.
Was
I
it like
imagine.
Dakota's place or something?
I don't know.
Some poor PA. They're like, we're using your house again. Oh, shit.
I didn't clean. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
None of this matters.
Yeah, I think that's the brunt of any other things we didn't bring up as we walked through it. So.
Yeah, I don't think I've got anything else right now.
All right, so
Michael, final thoughts.
it's like the 3rd or 4th time I've seen it. I enjoy it every time I watch it. I won't say 5 stars. I will say.
I was gonna say.
I mean, that's awfully high. But I will say, like, as far as rewatchability, it's really high. So I'm gonna go with 4 because it's just fucking fun as hell,
It's
man.
a fun movie.
Not every movie has to be like a profound
No.
masterpiece.
No, we've talked many times that we tend to rate things based on like how you feel in the moment about them, like what kind of vibes it gives you, how you feel about them later. This one is always just fun. It's just fun.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I'll also actually not give it 5 stars because I do think it does have some flaws that are very evident. I want more Uncle Impy.
Sure.
Maybe some of the kills could have been kicked up a bit.
Maybe, yeah, a little bit more gore. Like the monster girls could have looked
I think
better.
you guys are referring to things that require budget.
Oh, you can do a lot with creativity.
Yeah.
But it's so much fun. I love it just so much. It's a freaking laugh riot every time I watch it. I've seen it hundreds of times. I had it on DVD. I upgraded to the Blu-ray. It's a classic I watch every year at least. I was glad I was able to find an excuse to bring it to the show. So that's another blessing for this documentary thing.
Yeah.
So I'm a solid 4-star all the way.
Nice,
All right.
nice. And I will join on the wagon with 4 stars
Nice.
because it's just solid entertainment. It's just fun, and it's so. It's the good kind of nostalgia for me because it reminds me of haunting the video stores and getting all these horrible movies and just loving it.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, fun movie, great movie. Don't take it too seriously. Watch it, have fun with it.
I think that last comment is like a perfect segue when we talk about Dukey Flyswatter. Mm-hmm. It's fun.
That's the connecting point, I think, of everything he's worked on.
It's just fun.
Yeah.
Like, just have fun. Enjoy yourself. Do the thing that you want to do.
Be who you are.
Like, I mean, clearly, like, you know that, like, if we could probably link to a couple, like, performances or
Yeah,
whatever.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll throw some up.
Of Haunted Garage. And when you see these, like, you're like, holy shit. Like,
Oh, I wish I could have been there.
I mean, Dukey's showing a lot of skin in some of them.
Yeah.
And I don't know how he got those pants on. So, like, when all the country songs talk, like, painted on jeans, like, this is painted on Dukey. But it's just, like, it exudes fun. It exudes just, like, throwing whatever cares you have, like, about what anybody might think. Just like, fuck it, I'm just going to do this. It's going to be stupid and it's great.
To me, their stage show music is kind of like if John Waters movies, if he made a musical, I think that's what it would be like.
I could see that.
And I have I mean, that's kind of my thing. Like, I love Guar, and I love them for the fact that they're like, let's just do this for fun. That I don't think everything we do has to be like, yes, we love cinema. And I say cinema with a capital C.
Oh, yeah.
Cinema and a capital S cinema.
Especially.
Hey, yo.
You put an accent over that E.
Yeah. But it doesn't all have to be that. There's so much room
Yeah,
for
schlock is great too.
for this shit
Yeah.
that I love.
Right.
And I feel like 99% of anyone who listens to our podcast regularly also loves this shit.
I hope so.
Absolutely, I'm sure.
There's like one guy who's listening. He's like, no, this is below me.
He hates when we slum it.
No, that guy tuned out a long time ago.
He's listened to the Reflecting Skin. Dustin pissed him off with Brimstone. He was happy about the Nightingale, though, probably.
Yeah, probably.
We'll see. We'll see how we go. So let's circle it back around, I guess, to this documentary and talk about that for a little bit.
Yeah.
One thing I think is awesome is that it's happening now because it's like Michael Sonye, he is still alive. He's still out there kicking it, doing stuff. I think often when some of these like unknown, like undersung heroes of like niche genres like this, very often like they're like kind of like critical like respect and fame for what they've done like it comes after they pass away,
Right.
or like forever on. So it's cool that this is happening now where it's like he can actually know like, yes, there are people out here, we do appreciate what you've done, we love it.
Yeah.
It's super cool.
That's a good point.
I think I forget who said it, but I saw a quote and it was someone who was talking to John Carpenter and they were bringing up like The Thing and like how it's been reevaluated and it's so critically acclaimed. And I think his comment was something like, well, a lot of good that does me now.
Yeah.
So it's cool. I'm excited about it. So the documentary is called The Life and Slimes of Dukey Flyswatter and Haunted Garage. It's a documentary extravaganza about the B-movie star and legend and his horror rock band. Dukey, or as we've said, Michael Sonye, he's known for co-starring in various B-horror classics, many of which we've already named, writing on some of them. One I wanted to bring up that he wrote on, which reading like the list on this documentary just reminded me of Star Slammer, or Prison Ship.
Yeah.
Very cheesy, like prison in space.
And I haven't seen that one. I need to check it out.
I have not seen that either.
Very sleazy, super fun. But the film's going to tell the story of this underground LA punk and film scene that he kind of grew up in and grew in around. And it's going to have tons of interviews with members of Haunted Garage, past and present, people from Guar, L7, Green Jelly, The Dwarves, Adolescents, Radioactive Chicken Heads, Penis Flytrap, Pygmy Love Circus, and Undead Kennedy's Foxtrot, so many more. And that's just the music side. There's also going to be plenty of film-related people, too. Mm-hmm. I know in the trailer I saw Bill Moseley, which I was excited about. I always love when they get him to talk about anything.
Great.
I think when we spoke to him, he mentioned he was going to be interviewing Lloyd Kaufman.
Awesome. Yeah.
So he's always super insightful. I'm excited to see what he has to say.
I love Uncle Lloyd.
Yeah, he's the best.
A bit about the filmmaker. So his name's Kevin. He's a musician and videographer based in New York. He's worked a lot on various projects, especially like filming live events and doing like documentary style content. So this is exactly in his wheelhouse. As a musician, he's produced music for his band. He's toured with Green Jelly and the Radioactive Chicken Heads. Tons of like local shows, local stuff going on.
That's awesome.
And the thing is he is like a Haunted Garage super fan. He actually started in the mid-90s the first Haunted Garage fan website.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
So
Very
he is
cool.
like right there in the thick of everything.
That's great.
And it's this thing he's always loved and been passionate about. And what kind of started this is during the pandemic lockdown, he started to digitize VHS tapes that he had. And some of those were like tapes of Haunted Garage shows. So he had all this like archival footage of performances and stuff.
That's amazing.
And so yeah, he's been collecting interviews, digitizing this footage, and stringing it together into a documentary. But like anything, if you're an independent filmmaker, at some point you got to put some money behind it if you really want to do something. So that brings us to this crowdfunding project. He has to raise money to finish the film, all the PR, all that other stuff to get it done. So I don't know how much you guys go into crowdfunding stuff. I think I'm probably the one that leans the hardest.
You are a hardcore crowdfunder.
Yeah.
I've done a lot in like the RPG realm because that's something I care about. And those, it's like, right, you have an idea, but then you need like art for the book. You need it laid out. You need it, printed. All of that is like beyond the reach of most people unless you have a publishing company. I have done a few film projects like the Jason fan films, Never Hike Alone. I've backed those.
Oh, cool.
I backed, what was it, Muck? Did you guys see that film?
I haven't seen that one.
It's this very sleazy, like, slasher throwback. It's super fun. Like, if you just want to see hot chicks in their underwear running around and Kane Hodder killing them for like 80 minutes,
Who doesn't?
there you go.
I mean, I bet Kane Hodder had a good time.
Yeah, so like we've said, you can check this all out at dukeydoc.com. I'll put the link in the show notes. I'll link right to, I think it's an Indiegogo that they're doing for the crowdfunding. Which
Nice.
them, Kickstarter, they're all kind of the same. They each have their own quirks. I kind of like Indiegogo better, I think. I think it's less corporate,
Cool.
I know nothing about that, Dustin. I'm gonna take your word for it, and if you tell me, I'll do it.
And so here's my call to you, dear listeners. Maybe you don't care to, financially support the creation of a documentary. That's cool. You do you. If it's something you're interested in, I would say go watch this documentary trailer, see what you think about it. If it's something you want to support, go for it, do it. If it's not your thing or you just don't care, give this guy a hand and just like reshare the link. Tell people about it. Help spread the word on this.
Yeah, that doesn't cost anything.
That's my main thing.
Cool.
Because I love when people are passionate about something and when they really just reach out there and try to make it happen. Mm-hmm. So I want to throw my support in behind that and see this thing to completion.
And from the trailer, I mean, it looks very professional. It looks very well done.
That was what sealed me in on wanting to, throw in behind this.
Yeah.
This is the part of the episode where I will go back and edit Sarah McLachlan's Angel behind Dustin's plug there.
Well, if that doesn't get him to give money, what will?
I know, they'll just be crying and throwing money everywhere until it gets taken down because we don't have the rights to use McLachlan's music.
You too can bring an indie documentary to completion.
Oh, you should change the wording of that.
No, I like it.
Or at least an indie documentarian to completion. Wow.
Yeah, so Kevin, thanks for reaching out to us about this. We wish you
we
the
appreciate it.
best of luck with this documentary.
Can't wait to see it.
I'm going to pitch in on it.
Yeah, I think I'm going to too.
Throwing it out. Yeah.
I'm gonna take a look at it. I mean, I don't need any physical media anymore because I'm that guy. But I give him money.
It's something I'd support. Definitely.
I want to see all this footage and interviews.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's super cool. Go check it out. If nothing else, reshare it. Let people know. Get the word out about this. The Life and Slimes of Dukey Flyswatter and Haunted Garage. We love Dukey Flyswatter. We love Haunted Garage. You're probably going to hear in all our bumps this time, we've replaced our music with Haunted Garage tracks.
Do not be alarmed.
Do not be alarmed. In case you've never heard them, there you go. You're now familiar with that too.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome.
Dig it. Vibe on it.
It takes a lot for me to take away my own artistic expression to share it with someone else.
Right.
No, fuck my music. Haunted Garage all the
love your
fucking way,
music.
man.
I love
All
your
the fucking way, Haunted Garage.
Awesome.
So yeah, I think, do you guys have anything else to add? Or
That's it, man. I think you did a good job.
Just back to stock. Dustin will link everything.
Mm-hmm.
As normal, write to us, listen, do all that shit that you always do.
And if you're an indie filmmaker and you got something going on, a movie you want more eyes on or anything like that, reach out to us.
These have been so much fun for us. Like the few indie filmmakers we've had reach out. have been so much fun for us because this is the shit that we love.
Yeah, it's been very positive and very
We
cool.
spend so much time bitching about Hollywood and
Yes.
that we don't like what's coming out of Hollywood. And man, it's just like so refreshing and reminds us that there is a reason why we do this thing.
Mm-hmm. And that's kind of why I like crowdfunding stuff too, because I always say like, oh, vote with your wallet. And this literally is like, you can go and vote with your wallet.
Yeah,
I want
sure.
this thing to exist.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is... I feel like we're on the NPR Spring Pledge Drive or whatever. You can donate your car.
We have this great tote you can get if you donate so much money.
Well, I hate to tell you, we ain't got shit for you here. But
you will get a cool documentary. So
yeah, no, you guys are great as always. Text, write. Actually, don't text. You don't have our numbers. What the fuck is that about?
I'll be alarmed if I get a text.
That would be strange.
Hey, this is
You can email us at genreexposure@gmail.com. Hit us up on all the socials. Every one of them.
Dustin's better on the.
If we're not
socials than I
there,
am.
you'll understand probably why we're not there and can go on somewhere else where you can find us.
Yeah, you'll find us. Just keep looking.
Yeah, fuck that outro.
Send us movie recommendations, all that kind of stuff. We love it.
As always, you have been listening to Genre Exposure.
Bye, everyone.
Take care.
You're listening to the Prescribed Films Podcast Network, home to hundreds of hours of free podcast entertainment. The shows on this network all have a common goal, providing you with the best discussions about movies and other forms of entertainment media. The PFPN hopes to fill your earholes with audio joy. Visit our website with links to all the other amazing shows at www.thepfpn.com. Thanks for listening.